Hello everyone, I all hope you have very much of a blessed, great morning indeed, guys. As you can see, guys, the weather today is very much extremely cold, as in literally superly, very much quietly cold, as in superly so cloudy and so freaking cold. Not like exactly like yesterday, but today is deliberately extra, as in extremely very much cold. I all hope you guys are very much quietly warm, dressed home, and very much quietly dressed home, and also very much quietly good and happy as well. Nevertheless, guys, I'm so superly grateful for your guys' support in still watching and in viewing my episodes from shorts, TikTok, and from YouTube as well, from long videos from YouTube, and from those of you who are also subscribing as well, from those of you also subscribing in YouTube, and those of you are also following me, and on those of you are also actually following me in TikTok as well. Your support means tremendously the entire universe to me, as in literally means the entire universe to me. And thank you for those of you who are still staying with me on my journey. It completely means the entire universe to me. May you all have a blessed, great, long weekend. I'll actually see you on Monday as well. Yeah, I'll actually see you on Monday. That is where we'll actually continue the next step of our episode about the next powerful super villain, superhero, monster, creature, world, planet, civilization, nation, and all of that, and clans, and all of that as well. But regardless of that, guys, enjoy your long, great, beautiful long weekend. I'll see you on Monday as well. And I'll upload this last video on YouTube and also on TikTok and also on Shorts as well for you guys to receive it. But regardless of that, guys, I still appreciate your support. May you have a beautiful, wonderful, long weekend. I'll see you on Monday. On today's episode, we're to speak about Power Shadow, who is a super villain and a high-ranking member of a formidable secret society of super villains known as the Unholy Alliance. It's not exactly an ancient. It's not exactly as ancient. It's not exactly an ancient secret society, not like the other secret societies that I've actually mentioned, or the other ancient shadowy criminal organizations that I've actually previously mentioned to you. This secret society is quietly modern, which is quietly exactly meaning now. It's quietly exactly formed recently throughout the years, and it's still quietly, highly still active. Power Shadow believes in the Unholy Alliance's goals to removing the world leaders of the entire sacred world, and of the real world leaders of the world of the real leaders of the world of humanity, and he's willing to actually help the members of the Unholy Alliance to facilitate their sinister plans and their goals in the process to furthering his own goal and his own agenda as well. The Unholy Alliance is a very powerful, formidable secret society of supervillains who have an evil agenda of their own, so that they can control the entire so that they can actually control so that they can actually control the world, the entire world's nation, for their own sinister ends, for their own sinister goals, and as well as the sacred as well as the sacred great nations, worlds, and planets, by placing them under their sole control in order to removing the universal heroes and the united heroes out of the way permanently, so that their goals can successfully bear fruit as well. And Power Shadow is very committed to the secret society's goals and to its true mission, and it's very well organized and very well prepared with its orchestrations and with its movements, and very highly resourceful member of the group, and very ruthless and merciful, and very aggressive in battle, and totally has the appetite for wanting more destruction and more chaos in his wake as well. Very dark, mysterious member. So let's exactly proceed. Excuse me. In Power Shadow's previous life, when he was living in the sacred worlds, magical villages and clans, his people were known as the Shadow Ones. They were one of the most rarest magical. They were one of the most rarest magical halflings. One of the most rarest halfling creatures of the hybrid race of the one of the most greatest hybrid races of all. they were actually the greatest descendants. They were actually the greatest and most powerful, relatively the greatest distant descendants of the king of darkness and of the great ancient shadowy and of the great ancient shadowy sacred founder and of the great ancient shadowy sacred founder who was rumored to be a godlike monk to his greater descendants and to his people as well. Power Shadow is one of those greater descendants known of the Shadow Ones who they greatly possess a feared and dangerous ability, and their powers and a greater physical, spiritual energy and powers is what makes them so remarkably feared. They were one of the greatest descendants that were quietly revered and feared throughout sacred history, for known to possess a dangerous ability and a power to conjure and manipulate darkness and shadows and also accessing forbidden techniques and dark forbidden shadowy techniques and powers of their own choosing, with the power of combining abilities of dark abilities with dark powers and abilities as well, and granted with the power of super ingenuity and with the power of immortality and with the power of long gravity. They were very quietly feared for their greater powers and for their sinister abilities and with their prowess abilities as well. And Power Shadow was one of the rarest of his people to possess those abilities. Within the 14th century, when the original Lord of Magic was quietly in power and still commanding and ruling the Shadow Empire, he demanded that the descendants of the King of Darkness must be fully exterminated. His followers, known as the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful, did not exactly want the descendants to be wiped out, as they believed that they could exactly pose a greater asset to the original Lord of Magic's goal and true mission in unlocking the full secrecy of immortality and life, and the secrecy of shadow energy, and the secrecy of dangerous forbidden techniques. Regardless of that, the original Lord of Magic wanted them gone, and he wanted them fully exterminated, since he realized that they opposed a greater magnificent threat to his future long-term goals and plans in the process, as he did with the origin race, which he also viewed them as a greater threat and an obstacle to his future plans and as well to his future goals as well. Regardless of that, his followers exactly obeyed the commanding order gave by the Grand Master, as exactly to annihilate the Shadow Ones, which they were completely to be annihilated on that very very particular which the ancient magical crystal village was quietly located within the great mountain that was quietly protected by magical blue and dark and purple crystals, which was given that the which was given the great problematic design in order with this construction side with the greater statues of the previous founders and with the previous ancestors of the kind of the leaders were quietly exactly held within the top of the village. On that very particular day, the dark magic users besieged the entire village with their dark magical powers as the Shadow Ones fought up against them until the most formidable and most darkest of their people who betrayed one of their own descendants for power, used an extreme dark and terrifying ability against his own people, literally releasing water energy and power towards the village in order to perfectly annihilate it, and combining the water energy technique that he was able to develop on his own with the blue crystal magic power in order to secretly to synchronize the ability and fully combine it together as a forbidden technique in order to wipe them out, and by using a dark magical water energy technique to destroy them all, which he purposely exactly did very well. And Power Shadow was very quietly well aware of the destruction of his own people, of his greater own people, and of his relatives as well, but he decided to hide within the shadows during the destruction when one of the most powerful of his descendants betrayed them and literally stabbed them in the back, which created dark, mysterious followers of their own in the result after they were fully exterminated. Within the Within the following centuries, Power Shadow remained in the shadows of the sacred world while monitoring and keeping tabs of the original Lord of Magic's reign, while he still remained in power and in control over the Shadow Empire. Despite that, he managed to actually eradicate his own people and the rest of his kind. He still kept tabs on the Shadow Empire's progress in conquering many worlds and many planets in the entire star systems of the sacred universe. On the nearest of the earliest century, Power Shadow exactly created a shadowy astral projection of himself in a dark powerful cave with other powerful shadowy astral projections of the other dangerous formidable associate, who exactly told Power Shadow that they are very quietly sadful and very much quietly felt his pain and anger to watching his people to be wiped out and to be destroyed. Power Shadow exactly told them that this is not exactly the time for him to show any emotions or any weakness at all, that he must continue his mission and his long-term plans by any means necessary. The powerful, these powerful shadowy astral projection of these dangerous, powerful, unknown shadowy super criminals and super villains decided to provide Power Shadow with all the resources and with all the great integrities he might need to begin his goal and to begin his mission, which they exactly did so as well. And Power Shadow exactly told them that he will repay them back in spades. But the mysterious associate told them that they don't need Power Shadow to pay them back in spade. All they need is for Power Shadow to complete his goal and his true agenda and his true mission, which will be good enough for them as the mysterious dark shadowy astral projections of one of the most ancient and powerful, sinister, shadowy super criminals began all to agree on that. After that, the projections of themselves began disappearing from the cave, and so did Power Shadow's shadowy astral projection of himself began to disappear from the cave as well. Over the following centuries, Power Shadow has conquered many thousands of merciless worlds, planets, and civilization and placed them under his sole control by waging war with the Four Nation Hunters and with the Shadow Empire warlords in order to destroy them and kill them the very same way they killed his people and wiped out his entire kind. He did the exact same way and repaid the damage. He repaid the damage to the original Lord of Magic in spades of two, which in order to show him that he's also powerful and very dangerous as well. During which, in those very particular rates of centuries, Power Shadow gained a huge, vast fleet of battle cruisers and of airship fleet and of hot air balloons and of very very skillful soldiers, very skillful fighting soldiers and assassins at his disposal, and he exactly manages to rule them with the great authority of his power, with the great authority of his power, and with the great authority of his power, and with the great authority of his ability as well. To that end, they viewed him as a godlike being and as a very powerful, sinister being, and as a very powerful, sinister being as well, as they were able to realize that he's more than just a powerful being, but a very powerful, sinister creature of an ancient being of his kind as well, which they made very ancient statues of Power Shadow as well, during which on the following greater centuries, Power Shadow was able to exactly conquer many worlds and many planets and many civilizations in one fell swoop, which he was able to earn a very dangerous and dark reputation of himself as well. By doing so, his followers mercilessly believed in him with his goal and with his soul extinction and purpose, which was able to conquer many thousand worlds and many thousand civilizations in one full swoop. Regardless of that, he was very convicted. He was very convicted with his obligation and with his dark ambition and dark desire to conquer and control many thousand known worlds and civilizations and magical worlds, placing them under his sole control as well. And guys, I'm very quietly sorry for the interference of the gardening people, which I should have actually told you and also quietly had alerted you as well. I'm very quietly sorry about that, guys. But regardless of that, Power Shadow became very, very ruthless and very aggressive with his goals and with his mission as he decided to remain in the shadows after conquering many worlds and many civilizations throughout the entire sacred universe, and especially within the fringes and especially within the fringes of the within the fringes of the known universe, which he manages to conquer and rule with an iron fist as well. Over the following years, over the following near to the end of the Great Centuries, Power Shadow still remained in the shadows, still keeping tabs on the original Lord of Magic's reign and ruling of the Shadow Empire, as he kept his forces and his armies at bay in order to make sure that they don't exactly attract any attention or any wanted force or evil to any side of their goal, to anything that can easily destroy his mission or his sole objectivity as well in the process. Within the within the middle years, Power Shadow exactly founded a base of operation within the Dark Crystal Temple, which he decided to modify and rebuild, which he decided to actually modify and reconstruct and rebuild in its own perfect images, which there were ancient, powerful pictures of the great, legendary, mythical, godlike, sacred founders, which were the great, legendary, mythical pictures of the great sacred founders, giving life and power to the children of destiny, who are also known as the children of prophecy, with the power to changing wars and battles and conflict in the process. Regardless of that, Power Shadow exactly felt quietly so attached to the ancient paintings, and to the ancient markings of the ancient Dark Crystal Temple, and to that end, he decided to study his powers and his abilities very much quietly up close, as he actually dig in deeper with the power of dark teleportation, with the power of opening portals, and with the power of using lightning energy at will, which was able to conjure up with his very much of quietly with his bare hands, and with the power of conjuring up dark, sinister illusions, and with the power of combining dark magic with science as well, which was able to achieve in a very much of quiet flavor Feral Soup, the power of converging energy into powerful source, and the power of literally synchronizing dark crystal magic with shadow energy at will, which Power Shadow was able to discover in that particular time. Within the middle years, Power Shadow remained within his dark crystal temple until Dr. Darkness came within his crystal temple and exactly telling him that he's been forming a powerful, formidable group of sinister super criminals who are willing to join each other and aid each other on their respective goals, and also as well on their respective mission. Regardless of that, exactly, Power Shadow decided to join forces with Dr. Darkness and accepting his invitation to become part of the Unholy Alliance, realizing that this is exactly where he was meant to be. And Dr. Darkness and Power Shadow shook hands, and Dr. Darkness exactly told Power Shadow that he's officially an associate and a high-ranking member of the Unholy Alliance, to fulfilling the Unholy Alliance's goals and its sole objectivity in the process. The two of them were very highly remarked at each other's greater goals, as they share a common interest, as they actually shared a common interest and a common goal that they were willing to utilize the ultimate resources to furthering the ultimate goal in a process. On the on the actual on the actual 20 on the actual 25 of March, the members of the Unholy Alliance began exactly into reintroducing themselves to the world, stated to them that they are a powerful, sinister, secret society of supervillains, as they exactly told the entire world's nation that they'll be actually holding them ransom due to the monstrous abominations and creations that they were able to successfully create on their own. Regardless of that, the members of the United Heroes exactly told the members of the Universal Heroes that they will have to fight against the members of the Unholy Alliance in order to attack them head on, as the members of the Universal Heroes realize that they'll be fighting up against one of the most powerful, baddest, super and great, and one of the most greatest and horrific, terrifying supervillains that they've never ever be able to literally see or able to realize from that particular time. On that very day, the members of the United Heroes exactly were forced to literally taking directive changes and measures on their own in order to fighting up against the monsters and the creations of the Unholy Alliance, in order to draw the world's attention away from the Universal Heroes' true mission, from the Universal Heroes' true secretive mission, as the Universal Heroes really made it to the villains' base of operation in order for them to systematically attack them and fight up with them. Power Shadow continued his merciless attack on the members of the Universal Heroes, and so did the members of the Unholy Alliance continued to attack until the Universal Heroes remained victorious, until one other member of the Unholy Alliance began releasing a monster from the other side. But the members of the Universal Heroes are very successful with the operation in neutralizing the greatest and most powerful, formidable secret society known as the Unholy Alliance, when the other members of the United Heroes arrived to back up the Universal Heroes in order to show the most powerful villains to surrender once and for all, which the members of the Unholy Alliance did exactly surrender, and exactly told the members of the United Heroes and the members of the Universal Heroes that the battle and the war is just from being over. After years of being apprehended from within the Astor prison, the members of the Unholy Alliance were successfully secretly released from the imprisonment to carry out their plans and their goals in the way that they want to from themselves, and also from themselves, in order to carry out their sinister, evil agenda of their own. Now that they managed to actually draw the attention of the Universal Heroes to them, in order to remove the attention from the members of the Order of Power, and from the members of the Order of Secrets, from the members of the Order of the Five, and from the members of the Founders, and from the members of the Sacred Circle, Sacred Five, and the Court of Nature, in order to draw the attention from the real ancient organizations, from the real ancient powerful villainous organizations that are highly still operating within the shadows, in order for them to carry out their sinister and most evilest plan ever known. On the 29th of August, Dr. Darkness was able to reconvene with the members of the Unholy Alliance in a dark crystal temple, where each member exactly told Dr. Darkness that their last encounter with the Universal Heroes and with the members of the United Heroes was quietly bad enough that the entire world of humanity was very much completely to see their great defeat and their great demise at the hands of the most powerful superheroes ever known. And Power Shadow completely agreed with Dr. Universe that defeat can never ever happen again, and it can never ever take place ever again. It was a bad mistake for it to actually taking place on its own, in order for them to further their plans and their sinister goal in the precipice. The other members completely agreed that it's time for their plans to begin taking place once and for all. On the 22 of September, Power Shadow returned to his stronghold, where he has never actually been to his stronghold ever since he was apprehended in the human world and also sentenced to the Astral prison, where he was able to return to his stronghold, where it houses thousands of assassins and mercenaries and powerful, sinister, dark magic users, and an army of warships and of battle cruisers and of sinister agents who work for him in the shadows, and powerful, formidable sleeper agents who are provided by the ancient sinister, shadowy criminal elite organization of an unknown group of dangerous, shadowy, and most powerful, sinister, ancient criminals unknown to sacred history and unknown to Phoenician hunter history and unknown to the Universal Heroes, who also have a powerful long-term evil goal and a plan they've been able to orchestrate and planning it out in a very systematic way, in a very systematic and in very highly engineered way for their plans to highly bear fruit as well. Despite that, Power Shadow was very quietly pleased to see his forces being trained and being recommended, and very much quietly told them that he's very happy with the progress of the abilities, highly began to adapt and highly to evolve. And regard of that, he actually told them that their plans, that their abilities are quietly getting spade, that it's time for them to initiate phase 2 once and for all. On the 25th of October, Power Shadow and the rest of his elite of mercenaries and assassins were heavily equipped with destructive and highly compatible with Harvikan Core technology. The Harvikan Core alien race, which I previously told you all you guys about, is a very, very sinister alien race of an empire that has its own goals and its own true activities as well in the process as well, regardless of that as well. Despite that, they were heavily equipped with Harbican Core destructive technology in order to wipe out the members of the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition. The Universal Water Heroes were quietly present during the attack and the staging that Power Shadow was able to orchestrate, and he decided to fight up against his forces on the very, very planet and world, which was very quietly of a distant, planet, which was quietly very much of a distant planet in a world that was quietly ravaged by wars and conflicts many, many centuries ago by the great sacred five, by the great sacred nations of the sacred world as well, in a process many centuries ago as well. Regardless of that, the Universal Water Heroes remained highly triumphed as they triumphed within a battle, as they fought up within the most dangerous, sinister mercenaries of all, and they fought up against Power Shadow as they realized that Power Shadow is very ancient and very powerful and very dangerous and very, very highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, as he disappeared within the woods, as he disappeared within the fears of the battle. The Universal Warriors realize that these assassins and these mercenaries are also very highly ancient and very highly dangerous, but they're not like the wild archers, the Noten Knights, or the Order of Darknesses assassins. They're not like those assassins and mercenaries as well. Either way, they realize that these assassins are very dangerous and also very highly equipped and very, very highly resourceful as well. Regardless of that, they decided to take all the operatives and all the captured assassins straightly to the Astral prison to remain in custody for their crimes as well. On the 11th of November, Power Shadow was able to reconvene with Dr. Darkness and Dr. Universe on his base of operation, which was still the same stronghold that was quietly located closely to a dormant volcano island which is quietly closer to the eastern sacred nation, which is quietly closer to the eastern sacred nations, land and kingdoms and border nations, which houses many battleships that are quietly travel within the oceans and seas of the sacred worlds and all of that. Regardless of that, Power Shadow was able to reconvene with Dr. Darkness and Dr. Universe in his central headquarters, and was able to tell them that the Universal Water Heroes are becoming highly a nuisance and becoming highly a threat to his operation and his plan. Dr. Darkness exactly reassured Power Shadow that everything else has been planned out the way it's supposed to be, and then all they have to do is make sure that their plans successfully bear fruit, as they all completely agreed on that. After the last meeting, Power Shadow kept himself and maintained his distance away from the wars and conflict in order to keep tabs of the members of the Order of the Five and of the members of the Founders, realizing that these sinister, ancient, and powerful masterminds of super villains are more dangerous and more very powerful, especially with the Universal Prince and the members of the Order of the 12 will become highly unlikely dangerous associate to one another. He decided to keep in tabs and operate the other ancient and powerful formidable secret societies in order to see where their goals and their plans will successfully bear fruit as well in the long-term plan. On the 29th of January, Dr. Darkness held up a video conference with the members of the Unholy Alliance in his central headquarters, which was a powerful, beautiful, magnificent, dark base of operation. Where he was able to exactly held up a video conference with the members of the Unholy Alliance and exactly told them that their planning and that they full secrecy of their planning and on their goals will finally begin taking place, and that everything else of it will actually begin taking place, and that the orchestration and all of it will highly be developed one way or sooner, as the other members begin to agree, and so did Power Shadow as well. On the 28th of February, Power Shadow was actually teaching one of the new sacred creatures and beings and inhabitants who access the forbidden powers and techniques of controlling energy powers or base energy powers or elemental energy powers at will, which was very highly intrigued as one of these creatures made a very highly progress as he discovered that each one of them can literally as he saw the true potential of their power and of their greater abilities and realized that these students can highly literally surpass him or highly literally not surpass him as well. On the 19th of on the 19th of March, Power Shadow created a shadowy astral projection of himself in a dark, misty cave, where he attended a meeting with the same associate who gave him the resources and everything else in a great ancient times. He attended that same meeting in a dark, misty cave, but not in a face to face, in a shadowy astral projection where he conceals his identity, and so did the other mysterious associate as well. Did the exact same thing. They congratulated Power Shadow in his highly great work with the Unholy Alliance, telling him that they are very highly impressed with his greater work and with his greater technician skills and with his resources. Said to him that he was meant to become part of the Unholy Alliance, so that he was quite destined to remain part of the Unholy Alliance, and so did the other member who was able to agree with him. Power Shadow exactly told his mysterious associate that he's very grateful for them to actually supporting him on his journey, and that he'll also remain a faithful associate to his ancient associate and as well to his long-term friends, as well to his long-time friends and colleagues as well in the process. As Power Shadow was very quietly removed, as a mysterious associate tells him that they will remain his allies and they'll always remain as his greatest mysterious associate in the process of their plans and of their opposite goals as well. And regardless of that, Power Shadow seemed very happy about that. On the 17th of April, Power Shadow exactly was able to return to the dark, sinister hideout of the sinister ancient organization that he was quietly able to form secretive alliances with back then during the ancient times, where the strange masked figure approached him behind and exactly told Power Shadow that after all these centuries, he still remained loyal to the secret, ancient, unknown organization which still been operating within the shadows of the sacred world and within Phoenician hunter history, that Valak, Hellfire, and Zacchaeus Darkest knew about their existence, and so did the evil rogue Phoenician hunters who've gone rogue from the true great holy sacred mission to protecting mankind and all of humanity from the worst monsters of the dark dimension, and yet he still remained faithful to the organization and to the cause, despite him joining forces with another sinister group of supervillains. He still exactly told the masked figure still exactly told Power Shadow that they're very grateful and honored to have him close by as a great formidable associate. Power Shadow exactly told the masked figure why is he revealing himself now to him when he was still quietly in hiding, and he still is exactly still in hiding. The masked figure exactly removed his mask to show Power Shadow his true identity, and Power Shadow seemed very shocked out of his mind that he is still actively alive and that he still exists, even when the others believe that he died, and still doesn't, and still even when the others still exactly believe that he died and was completely gone and erased throughout sacred history. He told the mask guy who took off his mask that he will always remain an associate and always remain a long-term friend, despite their goals and their objectivity may be a different objectivity, but they do share a common interest. As well as the mask figure told Power Shadow, he will always exactly refer to him as a friend and always exactly refer to him as an ally, despite that their friendship still exactly holds meaning, that the organization's secrets and of the two organizations' secrets and of their goals must remain only close to them and to their trusted allies and member. And Power Shadow agreed on that as well. On the 21 of May, Power Shadow was quietly intrigued when the most powerful dark magic users of the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, and of the Dark Faithful began creating a destructive and highly compatible device combined with dark magic and all the dark crystals and everything to actually subtract, to literally subtract, to literally absorb all the energy of light energy and of all the energy of light energy and of shadow energy as well in the process from the other beautiful magical worlds and civilization. Was very quietly intrigued as he told the dark magic users that his services to the unholy alliance are hereby remaining permanent to the group's goal and to their sinister plans as well. On the 25th of May, Power Shadow attended a meeting of the members of the Unholy Alliance in the same base of location, which was a dark crystal temple, where Dr. Darkness exactly told the members of the Unholy Alliance that their plans and their orchestrations have now beginning to take place, meaning that everything else must begin going according to plan, the way it's supposed to be, that the orchestrations and liberations have been set into motion. And Dr. Universe exactly told the members of the Unholy Alliance that never again, they must never ever again not underestimate the universal heroes and the United Heroes' abilities in thwarting their long-term plans and the operation and the full secret and the full secrecy of their goals and plans to conquering and enslaving humanity and controlling the rest of planet Earth for their own means and from their own goals, so that they can remain the sole superior rulers of the solar system and as well of the sacred universe as well. As they all began to agree, and Power Shadow told them that it's time for them to move up the next activity of their goal and of their planning as well in the process, regardless of what exactly might actually come about as well. On the 17th of June, Power Shadow remained within his throne room, this time on a different central headquarters of his base of operation, which houses an entire army of soldiers and assassins and mercenaries and highly destructive and compatible technology unlike ever seen, which was still being secretly supplied by the Hobbiton Core Empire as part of the ancient truce and pact that they made many centuries ago with his descendants, with his greater descendants known as the Shadow Ones, in order for them to making sure that the secrecy of their ancient deal and alliance remained a full secrecy, and they still able to uphold that full secrecy as well. Even now, Power Shadow remained within the throne room as a powerful configuring of a evil warlord exactly, and all the other warlords exactly were in the meeting room discussing the plans and the so-called and conquering many worlds and many planets, as Power Shadow exactly told the evil warlords that they will have to hold off the operation until there's a perfect time for them to strike and a perfect time for them to make the full appearance. Right now, they have to study the Four Nation Hunter Intergalactic Coalition movement very much quietly up close, as the evil warlords begin to agree with that as well. That the planning is for them to lay low and exactly tell their patrols and the rest of their patrols and their fleets to continue patrolling and to continue to keep them on the loop, and also to do whatever they can to make sure that their secret operation still continues the same way it was meant to go. They all purposely agreed on that as well. On the 19th of August, Power Shadow was able to meet up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the ancient sacred planet of the land, which was conquered by the ancestors before Laurel, known as the Lord of Magic, the original Lord of Magic, took over the Shadow Empire and began refocusing its destructive goals for his own ancient imagination. Before he actually took it over, there were other powerful, formidable Shadow Empire warlords and ancestors who ruled the Shadow Empire before the era and before the age where the original Lord of Magic was quite in power. Despite that, he met up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders beneath the sacred land, where there was an ancient crystal dark temple, and exactly told the Shadow Empire warlords that the technology would be very much quietly invaluable for his goals and for his plans. And the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders reassured him that they'll always remain faithful and loyal to Power Shadow and to the members of the Unholy Alliance, as it was always meant to be. And Power Shadow reassured the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders that he will supply them with endless and limited amounts of shadow energy and highly destructive and compatible resources, unlike anything else other they've never seen. And they are all very much relished in a sadistic laughter, as they were all very pleased that the deal and the pact that they all made centuries ago remains the same as well. On the actual on the on the actual on the actual on the actual 27th of September, Power Shadow created a deadly shadowy astral projection, a shadowy astral projection of himself, where he was reconvening with his descendants, with his greater descendants, on an ancient dark cave where there were powerful, formidable ancient statues of monsters and creatures that were never mentioned within sacred magic's history for all centuries and for all time. Despite that, his descendants completely congratulated Power Shadow and his greater reputation and exactly told him, now that the original Lord of Magic has been killed and has been effectively removed out of the way, their goals can now begin taking place, meaning the next step of the plan can now begin taking its alteration. Now everything else can move on according to plan, the way it was instructed to be, and that the full ancient plan can begin as well. And Power Shadow began to agree with the rest of his descendants, then that is exactly what they'll do as well. On the actual 19th of October, Power Shadow exactly returned to the ancient shadowy masked man hideout, where he was able to speak with him within the forest, with one of the base location, and telling him that the plans and preparation have been set the way it's supposed to be. He's ready to dispatch his mercenaries and assassins to learn more. He was ready to dispatch his ancient sleeper agents to learn more about the universal heroes and about the top national goals and all of that. The masked man exactly told Power Shadow that it's best that they gather intelligence and information in order to know that their plans are finally still beginning to taking place. As the masked individual began to agree, as Power Shadow began to agree with the masked associate of his long-term friend as well on that. On the 26th of September, Power Shadow was able to reconvene with the members of the Unholy Alliance on a different dark crystal temple and begin to reassuring them that the plan and preparation have been set and that everything else can now begin taking place, and that their future plans and their goals will gladly work in their favor with the event that's about to take place. Dr. Darkness exactly told Power Shadow that it's good because sooner or later they'll be the ones controlling humanity within their very palms of their hands, and the United Heroes will be completely stripped out. And Dr. Universe and Kane exactly told Power Shadow that with the army of the superhuman race being exposed to humanity, they can use the superhuman race in order to further their goals for domination, for universal domination, and for world domination, which the United Heroes and the Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition will not be able to prevent in a matter of days or weeks, as Power Shadow began to agree on that as well. On the 10th of December, Power Shadow exactly went into the ancient old bridge to meet up with these old associate of a sleeper agent who was quietly infiltrating another sinister ancient powerful group of super criminals who are not exactly as ancient as they are, but less ancient. But this group of super criminals are very highly committed with their sinister goals and plans. He met up with his associate on the bridge, and they exactly shared compliments on each other and also gratefully shared each other's great sentences and finishes each other's great sentences, and exactly told each other of each other's organizations, plans, and also goals. And they also shared each other's forbidden knowledge and techniques about their powers and abilities as well, which Power Shadow was able to tell his greater long-term sleeper agent that the planning and preparations have been highly coming in place, and the orchestration has been mandatory the way it was meant to be, as the sleeper agent began to agree with Power Shadow that everything else is set the way it's supposed to be. On On the actual 17th of January, Power Shadow was quietly present in a video conference held by Dr. Universe in his central headquarters as Dr. Universe began telling the members of the Unholy Alliance the planning and preparation have been set, everything else is ready to go the way it's supposed to be, and all that matters is that their future plans and their goals will successfully bear fruit once they obtained the forbidden power of the water beast by using it in order to destroy humanity and the rest of mankind, and using the superhuman army and a model to conquer the known universe and the sacred world in the process, for them to remain the sole superior rulers. That by doing so will cripple the world leaders of the world and the sacred leaders of the sacred world, and the great sacred leaders of the great sacred leaders of the great nations of the sacred world, piece by piece and world by world, and they'll be the ones remaining in power, and the competitors don't have any power or leverage against what they're about to do. And Power Shadow completely agreed on that as well. On the 20th of February, Power Shadow exactly met up with the sadistic evil warlords on the dark red crystal chamber, as he told them that the preparation was set to go for the conquest to beginning place, as he already dispatched his powerful sleeper agents to infiltrate the great Red Empire, Winter Empire nations in order for them to know exactly about their plans and their goals, and that the preparation is set the way they are supposed to be, and that now everything can begin taking place the way it was meant to be. And the evil warlords begin to exactly agree that everything else is set and the preparations are ready to go. Despite this, guys, Power Shadow is very ancient and very powerful, very sinister, and very highly organized, highly skillful, very observant, and very highly optimistic, super strategist and a super tactician, and very resourceful with his greater works and with his greater mission. He is one of the greatest descendants and one of the rarest and most powerful descendants of the King of Darkness, descendants of his people, known as the Shadow Ones, who are rumored and feared for their powers, for their spiritual powers, and for their energy, because their clan was one of the most dangerous and one of the most deadliest and powerful clans ever feared within the sacred clans of the sacred world, because they possess one of the most rarest and darkest ability of manipulating shadows and darkness, and the power of conjuring up deadly lightning energy, the power of conjuring up deadly lightning energy and water energy and earth energy, and will very highly gifted descendants and very powerful of that as well. During the extinction, Power Shadow kept his secret existence to himself and his past and his origins to himself, as he was able to do so as well throughout the following centuries. Quite frankly, guys, that also quietly enabled him to forming secretive, powerful alliances with one of the most dangerous and powerful, formidable ancient groups of super villains of organization, which he was able to do as well, and with the other remaining lost survivors of his descendants as well, who still operate within the shadows. He still remained in soul communication with them, and he also exactly believes in the ancient goal and in the ancient imagination. He's very highly equipped with a huge army of greater soldiers, of assassins and mercenaries, battle cruisers, airship fleets with greater highly advanced airship fleet, hot air balloons, greater highly advanced hot air balloons, and greater highly advanced with battleships that are at his disposable, very highly technical, very highly organized, and very highly a super strategist, very extremely immortal, very ancient, very powerful, and very dangerous, forming a powerful, dangerous, a very formidable ancient alliance with one of the most dangerous, sinister, ancient, shadowy criminal known as the Ancient Masked Man, who also as well is his long-term friend and colleague, who they've been working together very much quietly for a long time, and especially within the ancient times, to furthering the ancient amalgamations and their goals as well. They are very close associates, as is quietly very close with the stranger, with the masked man's associates, as well as he believes in their goals and in their plans as well. He's a high-ranking member of the Unholy Alliance, and he believes in the Unholy Alliance's goals, mission, and soul activity, and is willing to make sure that their goals successfully bear fruit. Very highly strategic, and very highly organized. He bears the power of teleportation, the power of conjuring dark magical orbs of matter, the power of manipulating dark energy, refractive lightning energy, and the power of water energy, earth energy, water energy, earth energy, and water and earth energy, and with the power of air energy, and with the power of spiritual energy, what will the power of disappearing, reappearing, the power of conjuring dark magical powers, and the power of converging energy into dark magic, and the power of combining dark crystal with dark crystal energy with blue magical energy at will, and with the greater destructive power, with the greater destructive power of with the greater destructive power with the greater destructive power with using the greater destructive power of all life energy technique, meaning by destroying worlds and planets and taking their life force and their power away in order to give himself the power to become more powerful. He is revered as an ancient, powerful, godlike, mythical being and a creature to his followers and to his dedicated followers, an army and soldier, which is why they followed him and which is why they believe in him. Even the dark magic users known as the dark druids, the dark witches, and the dark faithful completely follow him, and they still exactly do follow him as well. He's very vast and very independent with his power, very good in reserving his powers and with his energies and powers in a very good way, very skillful in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, marksmanship, stealth, the power of stealth and the power of camouflage, the power of stealth and the power of camouflage, and with the power of blending in with other environments in order to be undetected, and the power of sensory perception, and with the power of creating a deadly, shadowy astral projection of himself in order to conceal his identity and himself in a process as well, and with the power of summoning creatures and monsters and conjuring dark magical lightning powers and abilities of energy of conjuring the power of dark sinister dark energy purple lightning of magic at will, which can actually do as well. Very skillful in swordsmanship and very skillful in hand-to-hand combat, and very highly strategical and very skillful in the art of deception, manipulation, and as well very skillful in his very skillful with the power of summoning darkness and shadow at will, with his with his own driven ancient power as well. The way he's so ancient, he uses that to his advantage, he uses that to his advantage to remain low and to remain undetected. He believes in the Holy Alliance's goals, mission, and soul activity, where this is where he maintains his usual basis of operation as well as his central headquarters, which is a very formidable nation that harbors his entire fleet and the rest of his forces and the rest of his forces and the rest of his forces and with the rest of his people, which he literally rules them and commands them with great authority. He's very powerful, and he shares a dark desire and a dark ambition to ruling all of existence and of all of humanity with an iron fist. Very resilient and very persistent and very extremely intelligent, bears a 12-level intelligence and very highly resourceful. He knows the time to strike and the time to actually attack, and he's very patient as well. He shares a destructive powerful appetite for wanting destruction and chaos, which he's one of the most dangerous, ruthless members of the Unholy Alliance, and very powerful, super dangerous, and super highly organized and very systematic. According to Firebird, Power Shadow is one of the most darkest, deadliest foes, adversaries, and member of the Unholy Alliance who can never be underestimated and who must never to be undermined. He learns from his failures and from his previous failures by fighting the obstacle that dares stand in his way, known as the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes, and he learns from fighting up against them that they can never be underestimated, especially with their abilities, with their greater abilities in thwarting the Unholy Alliance's plans and with these associates' plans and goals in the process, which they've been able not to carry out since they're all being apprehended. Despite this, he's very remarkable, very good in forming powerful shadowy alliances with one of the most dangerous, evil, magical creatures and beings, such as the Dark Warlocks, the Dark Wizards, the Dark Witches, and one of the most powerful ancient shadowy groups of super criminals, which he also believes in their goals and their mission. That this is exactly where they provide him the resources, and in return, he provides them the expertise and the influence that comes with his ancient name, that comes with his ancient name, that comes with his ancient name and his ancient powers that he was able to utilize with his own resources as well, which he exactly believes in that as well. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders as well know very well to form an alliance with Power Shadow and with the rest of his associates, which is where they all work together as a joint team of greater powerful individual associate by secretly supplying them with destructive and highly compatible technology as part of their deal and as part of their ancient pact with the actual members of the Unholy Alliance as well, and with the Hobbiton Corps secretly supplying the members of the Unholy Alliance with more destructive technology and highly compatible technology as part of the ancient deal and pact that they actually made with them many centuries ago and many centuries ago, especially as well during the actual ancient times as well, where the members of the Unholy Alliance were able to where his descendants actually made a very much incapable, exceptional deal with his people during the following ancient times as well. Regardless of that, Power Shadow is very, very highly resourceful, very, very highly skillful, and very, very highly mindful, very good with deception, very quietly good with deception, and very quietly good with his plans and with his full secrecy of his operation and of his goals as well, and also very quietly skillful in his true ambition and with his goal as well, very quietly good in forming secretive alliances with powerful secretive sleeper agents that he managed to embed it with the other sinister organizations or the other supervillains in order for them to give him information and inside knowledge about their plans and about their goals. In return, Power Shadow would actually collaborate the same information to them as well. Due to his immortality and to his immense longevity, he's very resourceful, as he believed that he's destined to rule the entire known universe and the rest of sacred existence in the process, so that he and his associate and his other ancient powerful associate would remain in power and in control over everything. And they know that the universal heroes pose a threat to their goals and as well to his objectivity and to his mission, and he's willing to destroy them and wipe them out of the way to complete that goal and to complete that activity as well, in the process of furthering his ultimate plan and his ultimate goal in the process. Very, very powerful and very dangerous and very highly sinister, ancient, and very good in marksmanship in all combat strategies as well, and very, very remarkable and deadliest member of the Unholy Alliance and of the Unholy Alliance and of quietly as well of the other ancient sinister groups of super criminals and villains that he was quietly able to join forces with. He is regarded as one of the most dangerous, powerful, sadistic, evil, unspeakable member of all the groups, and all the other members know very well that Power Shadow craves destruction and that he loves the appetite of wanting more destruction and to destroy things and to completely, literally destroy them in the process. And the universal heroes have seen his appetite up close, and so did the Four Nation Hunters, who have also quietly witnessed his appetite for wanting destruction and for destroying everything very much quietly up close. But he controls that urge and he holds it very deeply when he knows when the right time to attack will probably be anytime soon. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll see you on next week, Monday. Enjoy your long, blessed, long weekend. I'll see you on next week, Monday. We'll carry out the next episode. Have a blessed, long, great weekend and enjoy yourself as well. Your guys' support still means the entire universe to me, and it completely always will, and it'll always exactly remain the same. Very grateful for your guys' support. Have a grateful day and a very much of a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow I'll actually see you on next week. I'll actually see you on next week, Monday. I'll actually see you on next week, Monday, which will be able to continue out the next episode of the most powerful, notorious, ancient, sinister criminals or evil superheroes or supervillains and all of that as well. But regardless of that, guys, your support is totally, superly noted and very much quietly noticeable. And I'm totally grateful for it as well. Enjoy your long weekend. Take care of yourself and have a blessed long weekend. And love you guys. And also enjoy your day and take care of yourself as well. Very quietly a cold day indeed, guys. Literally superly quietly cold. And today's episode was about that power shadow, a supervillain, and a member of the Unholy Alliance. You got that, guys, and I all hope you enjoy your rest of your day and the rest of your long weekend. See you on next week, Monday. Sorry about the noise and about the background and the disturbance. Should have actually warned you that there might be noise and interference. But regardless of that, guys, enjoy your day and take care of yourself. And may God bless you and may God protect you and have a wonderful day. Love you and bye.